Your pick for us is the XLF. That's an ETF that tracks the financial sector. Why are you bullish on financials?
You know, they've really emerged as a market leader. If you look at a ratio of XLF to the S&P 500, you'll see this really attractive, compelling basing phase with a breakout in Q4. So that relative performance that we saw from the financial sector in Q4 to me was really very encouraging. It shows what had been sort of accumulation then giving way to breakouts. And those breakouts occurred both in absolute and relative terms, meaning that stocks cleared previous resistance levels, previous highs on their charts, moving averages, and that includes XLF as well. We saw XLF emerge from a bear market cycle, sort of a bear market range, and then advanced, saw that momentum shift that was really very meaningful with that. And we saw our first long-term momentum buy signal behind XLF since it had flipped to a sell signal in early 22.
All right, so we're looking at the charts right now. We're showing the audience. We're seeing that dip at the end of October, beginning of November, and then the XLF outperforms the S&P after that period. Give us a sense. What's the catalyst that's going to continue this strong performance in 2024?
You know, the charts aren't going to answer the question what, or why, excuse me. They'll tell you what's happening. Mm-hmm. And what is happening is that the momentum shift is pretty meaningful. Of course, we do have earnings coming from a lot of the big financials starting later next week, and that includes the likes of JP Morgan, which is really within an inch or so of an all-time high. So the action ahead of earnings is really very bullish. That creates a proof point for the sector. But listen, we would welcome some kind of consolidation or a pullback. A lot of the market does seem to be poised for that here in the coming weeks, just given the overbought condition ahead of year end. But we would welcome that as an opportunity to add exposure.
So again, the XLF is your pick for Q1, but you're also looking very closely at Bank of America. Why Bank of America? What does Bank of America demonstrate for investors that you think is notable?
You know, I just think it's exemplary of the sector. We have a bullish reversal there as well. You could draw a downtrend line on that chart and see that it's been broken. And Bank of America, like many others, had a bit of a shakeout ahead of the Q4 rally. And that, to me, was a very bullish development. It showed a willingness for buyers to step in. We also had, from a charting perspective, what we call a double bottom formation, really across the board in the financial sector. If you look at the likes of Fifth Third Bank, which was one of the best performing S&P 500 stocks in Q4, you'll see a nice double bottom formation. It looks a bit like a W on the chart. And those tend to reflect accumulation that happens after a downtrend cycle. So we do think that the financial sector, not just for Q1, but for 24, may emerge as sort of a leader, just like it showed itself in Q4.